welcome to the tune-in. This is episode number 10. So we're in January still here, back in time, even though today, as we air, it's February 21st. In Brooklyn, it's January 10th. So it's been a crazy week. I don't know what more to say about it, but crazy week, crazy times. I'm glad I have these to do. Done 3 this week. This is the third of the week. I think I'm going to break for a bit and edit these shows so that I can come at them fresh. Anyway, the tune-in. If you like it, please subscribe. Red button down there on YouTube. Please donate if you'd like to help support this show. Tyree is the handle, Venmo and Cash App. You can visit my site at bentyree.net. And I really hope you've enjoyed the first 10 episodes. We're going to keep doing them. There's going to be a lot of cool guests. More conversations seeking to illuminate and humanize the struggles and triumphs of artists, musicians, and other creatives. I flubbed that a bit, but that's essentially the gist of the tagline. So today we have somebody very dear and very special to me. He's my big brother in music business and in life. Known him a long time. He's done so much stuff. This is like the longest episode because there's so much to talk about. So I think we're going to do a part 2 at some point. But he's just been a really important person to me. One of the most important people to me in my career and in my life. And he means the world to me. And I want you to know him. And I'm sure a lot of you know him because a lot of people know him. He's Vernon Jeffrey Smith. V. Jeffrey Smith. Some of us call him Jeff. I call him Jeff. Some call him V. Some of you call him a lot of other things. That's what I call him. And this is a really good one. This is a really, really, really good one. I think I wrote down at some point a couple years ago all the projects I've been a part of with him. And I've been in more projects and bands with him than with any other person. He's been part of my projects. I've been on some of his Family Stand records. We were in Burnt Sugar together. He was in my wife Stephanie Rooker's band. He's been so many bands with me and I with him. And it's crazy, the ground we've covered. And we're going to talk a lot about that. But before that, so just to give you a sense, this is the longest bio. I asked for a short bio. Jeff sends me this bio. It's like a whole page. People are sending me paragraphs, Jeff's life cannot be contained in a paragraph, nor can his career. But out of respect, because this man deserves all the respect in the world, I'm going to read this whole bio, right? So I hope I don't trip over my own tongue here. Here we go. V. Jeffrey Smith. Vernon Jeffrey Smith taught himself how to play the guitar at the age of 9, as well as a number of different instruments. He learned to play the saxophone at the age of 13 in junior high school. V. Jeffrey Smith has written, produced, and performed for and with an array of major artists on various projects. In short, some of these artists were Kashif, Whitney Houston, DARYL Hall of Hall Oats, PAULA ABDUL, producing and writing on her second and third albums on Virgin Records, Desiree, production and writing on this album, which included the #1 hit, You Gotta Be, Corey Glover of the rock group Living Colour, producing his first solo album. He's also written and produced songs for the Tony Award-winning artists from The Lion King and Aida, Heather Headley. Her first solo album, which had the major #1 R&B hit, He Is, as well as writing and production for songstress TAMIA. He has also produced for the world-famous Average White Band. He's also been on many major hit records as a sideman recording musician. Most notably playing sax solo on the Billy Ocean #1 hit record, Caribbean Queen. V. Jeffrey Smith, simply put, one talented man with a bevy of accomplishments. Most notably in Smith's long list of achievements was one group in particular proving very, very important in the life and career of V. Jeffrey Smith. he and his partner Peter Lord, along with singer extraordinaire Sandra St. Victor, formed the group The Family Stand. They made some nice strides in the underground and R&B world with their hit single entitled Ghetto Heaven. The Family Stand released 4 albums on Atlantic Elektra Records, including the critically acclaimed album Moon and Scorpio. The group accumulated a massive cult following worldwide with their intense live performances and poignant thumping sound. Jeff currently plays with the Soul Folk Experience, the Black Rock Coalition, and the Burnt Sugar Orchestra Chamber, and is often found making guest appearances alongside countless artists. He considers himself extremely blessed to have traveled to 7 different continents in the span of his career, but is most proud of the studio he owns in New Jersey, where he produces his own independent music projects and projects for ESPN Sports Entertainment. That was a mouthful. That was a long bio. I'm sorry if I flubbed at any point or mispronounced anything. Anyway, I'm excited to welcome my dear friend, V. Jeffrey Smith. All right, Jeff, what's up, man?
What's up, man? Ben.
Here we are, your episode number 10.
I'm a 10. That was not a good number, but you know.
Why is that
why couldn't I be like number 2 at least, you know?
Well, there was some I don't know, it was just kind of, there was a flow to this. I don't know why. There's no logic to it.
So I got good flow, man.
No, I don't. It's not about you.
I should be busting your chops, yeah.
Well, you should be. You should always be. That's made me better over the years.
Well, I hear you.
But where would I be without you busting my chops?
Well, somebody else busting your chops.
No, it wouldn't be the same. It would be the same. Yeah, so we're so this is gonna air around the time of your birthday, in between my birthday and your birthday.
Okay.
February
that's cool.
21st is the air date.
Come on, man. Man, I know your birthday and you don't know my birthday.
No. The 21st.
That's because you throw a party.
I'm saying the 21st is when this will air.
Oh, so my birthday is the 25th though.
But I thought it was the 20th. See, I'm confused because if you had said when's my birthday, I would have said February 24th. So I'm always a day off.
24th? Yeah.
My numbers are off.
Well, I remember you and Steph's birthday because her birthday, because we're both Pisces, so
right.
Hers is March 13th, right?
Wow, man, you got a good memory. I have terrible memory.
Just you don't forget that.
Wait, what day did you say it was?
Now, you don't want to go down there, man. You don't want to go down that road, Ben.
No, I know. Of course I know her birthday.
Yeah, okay.
I got it tattooed on my back.
You did for real?
No.
Okay, all right.
So what's going on? I'm glad you set up so that we can see all your accolades back there.
Well, I don't even know can you see everything?
I can see some of it. Yeah, I can see some.
It's like my
Billboard awards and platinum and gold records.
Yeah. This is the kind of things that keep me going after all of these years in the business. I got to do is remember that I accomplished something. I just come in here and look at this stuff and say, okay, I was worth something to somebody.
You accomplished a lot of things, more things than most people I know, including myself.
But I do things and I just kind of do them and forget about it. You know, I don't really sit and think about what I've done or what I do. I just kind of do it and then move on to the next thing. And it's not until you get a moment like the pandemic, you say, oh shit, what did I do with my life? And then, you know, I come back and I could look at this stuff at least, you know.
Have you been looking back more during this time, would you say?
Actually, probably, I would say in last August, I started for the first time this somewhat like semi-journal.
Nice.
Because sometimes, just writing, getting up every morning and writing my feelings about anything, unfiltered, uncut.
Wow.
Because sometimes, you know, when I feel like I don't have anyone to talk to or to be as honest as I could, I know I can be honest with myself. And, you know, and to kind of look back, be able to look back maybe a year or two or later on and see what you're thinking in that moment or what you're feeling in that moment when things are not really clear what's
Mm-hmm.
happening. So I try and write down things that I can really totally be honest with myself, the good and the bad, you know, whether it's
Yeah.
good or whether I fucked up with something or whether I did something good, you know. Give
It's
myself roses if I do something good instead of being hard on myself about it.
yeah,
Because,
yeah.
you know, after being in this business as long as you can, you could get jaded with shit. You get very jaded with shit, you know, if you stop and you like really think about it, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So even when you had a little bit of success, because that stuff doesn't last forever. You're in a constant state where you gotta recreate, recreate yourself, and find
Mm-hmm.
ways to just kind of stay in the game. You know,
Mm-hmm. That's like
keep yourself.
that's like one of the things about you that I've found inspiring and it's been helpful knowing you through a lot. Like we haven't known each other that long, but like 15, 16 years.
Hmm.
That's a good chunk of my adult life, you know,
So I
and
met you in like
five or
2005.
six, something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah,
And
yeah.
you know, we've both. I've been through a lot of career ups and downs in that period. So have you.
Yeah.
I think, you know, I tell people I've probably been in more projects with you than with any other single person. I
Wow,
think.
man, I'm sorry to hear that, bro.
No, 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 it's good. But
Yeah.
I've seen how you navigate all the ups and downs, and like at least it looks on the outside that you're just kind of like,
You're kind of going in and out. You're getting like
oh, that
I
might
don't know
be
if that's me.
it might be
You
your
think that's the
signal.
internet?
Your signal is good. It
My
might be.
signal is good.
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty clear.
Okay. Okay, you were just kind of stuttering for a second.
Oh, sorry. Well, it's good on my end.
Okay. All right.
So no, I was saying, what was I saying? Oh, it's been helpful for me to see how you handle ups and downs, career wise. I mean,
Yeah.
not that I've seen you through tremendous downs or whatever, but like, you know, we've been in high end hotels together and high end gigs
Yeah. Yeah.
together, and then it's like you've crashed on my dad's couch, you know,
Yeah.
and
That's
like
right.
it's like whatever. And so you model this sort of attitude of like whatever you got to do the job and do it well
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
show up with integrity, and that's
Yeah.
like that's been a big help for me.
That's important, man. I mean, that's important that I give the best best me that I can give to whoever I happen to be working for or serving at the time, because whether I'm getting paid or not, because at the end of the day, it's your name, and it's that people remember about you, that and kind of keeps they keep calling you back for work because they know you're gonna get the job done.
That's
So
right. Yeah.
yeah, that's important.
I remember you told me one time, you know, you never know when someone with some money is gonna see you.
That's right. That's the truth, man. You never know who's watching you, man. I mean, you never know who's watching you. That's why you got to stay on top of your game
Yeah,
at all time and as much as you can.
that's right.
Particularly in a band, when you're in the band, anybody can be out in that audience. So,
That's right. Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, you play for the team, but you also got to look at it as you working for yourself too.
That's
So,
right. That's right.
you
It's
know,
both. It's a good balance because
it's a good balance.
I think early on I think it took me a long time to learn how to be a real team player because like when I started, it was like my beginnings was about like my songs and playing gigs
Right,
and
right,
recording my own stuff, and like
right, right.
whoever was down to come along, that was cool, but it was very like kind of self-centered. And it
Yeah,
took
but
it
that was good though.
no, yeah, yeah, and
It served the purpose.
it should be that way sometimes when you have ideas and you've got, you know, ambition around them, but you know, I'd
Yeah,
say
man.
like being in a more supportive role to
Mm-hmm.
other people's ambitions and ideas has made me more solid with my own, you know?
Yeah.
It's like that
Yeah.
whole thing of like, you can't be a good leader unless you know how to be a
We
follower kind of, yeah.
follow it. Exactly. Exactly, man. And I think I try and do both well because, it's kind of being supportive of people that's doing, they might not all always be supportive of you the same way, but that shouldn't stop you from still doing what's in your heart and doing the right thing. So
Hmm.
that's kind of been always been what I've been about, and I got receipts to prove it. So
That's right behind you too.
yeah, well,
So I can't
yeah.
make out some of what
Well,
records on the wall are.
that's Billy Ocean, of course. That was I guess my biggest claim to fame as a saxophone player. And then I think I got some Debbie Gibson back there. I got some BMI awards. Uh,
Did you,
and
what
there's Paul.
did you produce Debbie Gibson?
No, I played. I played on a couple of #1 records that she had. Because my
Nice.
friend Fred Czar produced, and he was calling me in to do sessions because he produced her. When she first was a kid,
Yeah.
and I had a couple of #1s on that on her records. And
Nice.
then of course Paula Abdul.
Yeah, Spellbound, right?
Yeah, Spellbound. Of course we did Paula Abdul. And then I have I think Freddie Jackson over there somewhere. I got Jonathan Butler. I got of course Family Stand, my group, Family
Yes,
Stand.
of course.
I think I got Desiree over there. Yeah, Desiree over there. A bunch of stuff that I
That's pretty awesome.
it's in the mix.
I have some of those on my wall at some point. Not mine,
I
but
don't even.
not mine, but yours. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know that they're doing that anymore, man. I mean,
Yeah,
I came
they
up in the
are.
time.
They
They're
are.
still giving away gold and
Yeah,
platinum records.
even for like Lenny White.
Yes, I know
So
anyway.
this is a surprise, but Bitches Brew
Right.
just went platinum recently.
Really?
And if that's not true, he posted on Facebook like in the past week that he got a framed platinum for Bitches Brew. And
Wow.
he was like, said something like, New Year comes with new surprises or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like, and it was like, wow. See, I would have thought, now I know
Yeah.
it's like one of the, if not the best selling jazz record of all time, but I would have thought it would have been at least platinum.
Is that the one Marcus did? Marcus Miller?
No,
He didn't.
Bitches Brew is 1970. Marcus Miller did Tutu, right?
Two.
Yeah.
There you
Bitches
go.
Brew
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
1970 with all the, it was like the first
Yeah, yeah.
big fusion record. And it was like, like everybody was on it.
Miles, man, that guy had so many reincarnations of himself, man, throughout his career. He was
Yeah.
constantly doing something different every 20 years and shit. He
Well,
wasn't afraid to do it,
he
man.
was reacting, he was trend setting and also reacting to like we all do.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to
Yeah,
have
yeah.
your vision and react to what's going on, right? So,
Yeah, I mean, there's two sides to that because you kind of react to what's going on and try and keep up with the trends and get caught up in some bullshit at the same time if you're not careful.
which happened a little to him.
It did. It
Yeah.
did. Wanted to be a part of. I mean, shit. I even saw where that shit happened to Prince.
Oh,
So
really?
at times, I mean,
Hmm.
yeah, Prince wants to be. He wanted to be relevant and be the man and be relevant with what's happening. So
Mm-hmm.
he did some stuff just to kind of. I guess once you get that kind of success and you get older, you kind of want to keep up with what's happening, especially if you're I mean, it's very rare that you find people, unless they're like totally committed to being innovative and staying, setting trends, to not get caught up in what's happening now because you want to kind of stay relevant and stay in people's minds. I mean, for me, even with hip hop, I don't chase that. I like it, but it's not. This is like somebody else's world. You know, this is like
Hmm.
their world, and you know, I like some things, but I don't chase after trying to make my music sound hip hop just because it's the hot shit. Or I've
Hmm.
never done that even with any kind of music, pop
Hmm.
music, no matter what. Never tried to do that. So
Hmm. What do you consider your world to be then?
my world to be right now is I just feel like I'm just in my world doing what I want to do. I mean, I don't even, you know, even when this pandemic started, I wasn't really freaked out about it. I mean, I miss my friends. I miss playing with you. I miss playing with, you know, groups playing out live. But in terms of being down here, I'm in my world because I can still create. I
Yeah.
have my health, you know, and I could do pretty much whatever I want, you know, and a lot of throughout my career and my life, I pretty much did what I wanted to do, you know.
Hmm.
I never put myself in a position where, I mean, there's things that I had to do, you know, to pay some bills and stuff, but I didn't get caught up in feeling like I was doing some shit that I just didn't want to do. And if I did it, I didn't stay into it for long. And sometimes you do things and you have to look at it as an opportunity to take you, that's going to take you to bigger things, you know?
Yeah.
So
Sure. Sure. Yeah. And
it's
it's
like
like.
when I was working in Kashif's camp,
Hmm.
I looked at that as probably a big opportunity for me because, you know, he was able to see my talents and allow me to produce records for the first time. You know,
Was that your
produce real.
first like professional job
Uh,
situation?
no, no, because by the time I started working with Kashif, I was about
It was
I
like
was about
early
I was
'80s.
it was like early 80s. It was like maybe 80, 81, something like that. And I was at a point in my career where I was just tired of doing, because I had done every wedding gig, every bar gig, every Chitlin circuit gig, and I was just tired of it. I was tired of doing weddings. I was tired of playing songs that I had been playing, you know, for the last 15 or 20 years. I was just kind of disgusted with it, and I just kind of shut down and went in my room and started practicing. Started practicing, working on Coltrane, you know, somebody trying to pick up his shit, which I still can't do to this day. But you know, I just shut down, and you know, I did some gigs and stuff, and it wasn't until um, I was getting called to do session, but it wasn't until I got called to do the Billy Ocean session that things just started to turn for me. And then,
Hmm.
because at the same time, I was working in the Kashif camp, you know, kind of honing my skills as a producer.
Hmm.
But things were just kind of turning around for me because I just wanted to shift what I was doing because I didn't want to be caught up playing in a band, playing like cover songs for the rest of. I wanted to do some other stuff. You know, I wanted
Yeah.
to write. I wanted to produce. You know, have control of my music, how it sounded, and you know, guys like Stevie Wonder was like my big inspiration at the
Hmm.
time. He's the
Hmm.
biggest inspiration for me because you know I saw what he was doing and you know in his writing and producing his own stuff, playing on his all his own stuff, and I said, yeah, I want to do that. You know, so I focused a lot of my energies into like studying what he was doing because at the time he was like the man. I mean, he ruled the 70s, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. What he did was like
Yeah,
unparalleled, right? You know.
yeah, yeah, man. He was an original, man. He was an original cat, man. You know. And we were talking about even, you know, he's like my favorite artist. Him and Coltrane, my favorite artist. But even he, you know, there was a time when I thought he was like kind of jumping the shark with some of his music.
Who
But you know,
Coltrane?
no, no, not Coltrane. Well, Coltrane just jumped to the stratosphere to the moon. He was trying to reach another planet. He wasn't jumping. He was jumping planets. in the end. So, but Stevie was like, he wrote so much stuff. And I guess at a point when you write that many songs, it's like, where do you go? How do you recreate yourself? Especially those kind of songs. And unless you go into like total experimentation and searching. I mean, he did all his searching when he was like, between in his younger years, and he established himself as a trendsetter. I mean, he actually changed the way people were listening to music,
Yeah.
I thought,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
me.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah.
And kept it, and at the same time kept it accessible,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. So once you got in with Billy Ocean, so for those who don't know, probably most people watching this already know because we talk about this all the time. You played on like a bunch of his early hit records, like
Yeah, play.
Caribbean Queen. That's Jeff on the sax, and
Yeah. When the
um,
going gets
I
tough.
hear I
And
hear his records every time I got to move my car for
yeah,
street
man.
cleaning. I'm like, it's Jeff is in the car with me.
Yeah. I mean, that was because at the time and even after that, I was just doing sessions. You never know what records are gonna hit. I just did the session and I told you the story about how that solo came about, right?
I think you said
How
that it was like a bunch cut and pasted a bunch of different
that's
takes,
pretty
right?
much how it did because the producer at the time, Keith Diamond. Actually, I got the session from a referral from this guy that was in trumpet player in a group called Crown Heights Affair, right? You heard of them?
Mm-mm.
There was a Crown Heights Affair. Okay, they had some hits back in the 70s. But anyway, the trumpet player in that group referred me to a friend of his, Keith Diamond, who was producing for Jive Records, right? And told me I need a sax player because I'm getting ready to produce Billy Ocean. Because at the time, Billy Ocean's hit was like One of Them Nights. That was the hit that you remember that's One of Them Nights you feel like getting
Mm-hmm,
down.
mm-hmm,
Da,
mm-hmm.
da, da, da. Yeah, that was his hit, right? So I think he switched over to Jive Records, and Keith Diamond was working for Jive Records as a producer. So he was slated to produce Billy Ocean's record, right? So he was friends with Ajax, and he asked Ajax. He said, "Ajax, I need a sax player because I'm getting ready to produce Billy Ocean, right?" So Ajax gave him my number. He called me up, and at the time, the session was in what was that studio? Was it Unique on 7th Avenue and 46th Street or 47th Street? I think it was Unique
Not
Studios.
Sear Sound or whatever.
No, it was. I think it was Unique. You know, it's getting old shit sometimes is no fun. Because I did a ton of sessions in that studio, man. I played all kinds of stuff. So sessions. So he called me in, and they called me in to do the session, and the engineer was Bob Rosa, right?
Mm-hmm.
Great, incredible engineer, and so I came in to do the session, and they said go in the other room and set up and listen to the song. So as I was listening to, I set up, I listened to the song, and I was just playing random stuff that from top to bottom, right? They had the mic set up and everything, right? So after I felt like I may have had something to work with, I said, okay, let's go. Let's see if we could try something. So they told me to come in after that.
Oh, they had
They
already
said,
been recording.
they had been recording. That's when I learned about keeping the mic going, because sometimes you come up with the best shit when you ain't really trying to think about it.
Yeah,
So,
actually, that happens a lot of the time.
yeah, that happens a lot of the time. So I mean, there's no way to keep the tape rolling these days. But actually I did that because I was doing a video yesterday, and the girl wanted to run over some stuff before I actually started taping, but I taped. So I took a page out of an engineer's book to keep you have the tape rolling,
Yeah.
because that's when you come up with some brilliant shit. So after I did ran it down and said, okay, I think I got something. Let's try something. They said, come in. We want to do something. And they heard me play. They heard me play the different parts of the solo. Okay, we want this to go here. And then we want this part to go here. And then we want this part. So the thing was actually cut and paste. So that's how that solo came about.
But old school cut and paste, like literally, like
literally cutting it. No, actually, I played the solo, but I remember I know what you're talking about in terms of the way they used to edit. Because
like,
we all
the
came from
razor
this
blade and all that.
with the razor blade. I remember.
I actually learned how to. I actually did a bit of that when I was in high school. They had a communications program, and I wasn't in it. I was a music major, but they had a radio station and a recording studio in the high school, and they worked with only tape.
Yeah.
And this was the 90s, like when it was kind of phasing out.
Yeah, man. I remember the automation was like 5 people on a board with cues. I used to mix songs with Randy Muller. You know Randy Muller, right? Brass Construction.
Yes.
The group. Yeah, he's Brass Construction. I used to do like a lot of sessions with him, and they had 5 guys in the room on different parts of the board. Okay, you mute at this section, or you turn the volume up, or you EQ at this section. Everybody had their marching orders in terms of getting through the mix, and if somebody fucked up, got to go all the way back to the top.
It's like the mix was a performance in itself.
The mix was was a performance.
Yeah.
Done a ton of those. So.
A lot of people don't understand, younger people younger than me don't understand that, because it's like.
I mean, it's like everything is like, man, it's like you wonder how you got through those times. But I guess, those times were there for a reason. That's why when people say we want to make music, make it sound like the way it used to sound back in the 70s or 80s. Can't do that shit, really. You can, but you can't, because so much contributed to, so much what was happening in the world contributed to the way music sounded and the way you even created. That shit is not happening anymore. These times are here for you to accept new challenges about how you create music and, how you move forward. You can't get stuck in the past doing some shit that was already done,
Right.
That's why when I hear a lot of songs that people kind of redo that sound familiar, I'm like, why are you doing that? I understand why they're doing it, because it sounds familiar to them, even if they don't know where it came from. Those songs sound very familiar to them, so they kind of attach themselves to it, and it sells records, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the familiarity definitely helps sell things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Did I give you that Family Sand shirt?
Yes, you did. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Well, actually,
I like those shows.
We did we did that gig together outside in September. Rocky Bryant gave me this because he said it was too small, and he was giving it back to you, and you were like, "Hey, this
yeah. That's right. That's
probably," and you gave it to me. So yeah.
Yeah. I have a ton of those, and we planned on selling those.
Here, I'm gonna show it. Wait, trying to get.
You got to stand up, bro.
Here we go. Boom.
There you go. Right there.
This would be you.
Yeah. And so you see, I have on the Brooklyn hat.
Yeah.
Everybody's saying I was like kind of copping Spike Lee, but I was doing that shit way before.
Yeah, that's been your trademark a long time.
Yeah, I represent Brooklyn, man. Yeah. Wherever I go in the world, I represent Brooklyn.
Because you were born and raised, right?
I was born in Manhattan in Harlem, but I was raised in Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. And I got to kind of remind my kids that they're from Brooklyn, because, after a while, at a certain point in their life, we moved up to upstate the Mahopac. And that's kind of what they know.
What county is that? Where is that?
That's in
Mahopac?
Dutchess? No, not Dutchess. It's up there in Carmel, New York.
See, I should know.
That's about I don't know. That's maybe about 15 miles west of Peekskill. up in that area.
Okay.
Yeah,
What
okay.
was that like up there?
It was house was big. It was suburban as hell.
Yeah.
You know,
You liked
it
it?
was okay. No, I like it. I think I would have. I think I would probably appreciate it better now than
Yeah.
I did then because I was still down in the city. You know, working. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
got used. I'm a city kind of guy, so the quiet is good sometimes. But I mean, we had our own studio. I had my own studio that we recorded stuff in the basement. You know, a real bona fide studio with recording machines and everything. But I would, like I said, I would probably appreciate that more now that I'm older than I did then. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and plus that was really for the family. You know,
Mm-hmm.
because my wife at the time she wanted a big house and the kids had their own stuff. So, but yeah, I mean it was cool. It was cool for that time. I guess it happened because Pete lived not too far from me down in Bedford.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah. So once you linked up with Billy Ocean, you did those tracks
mhm.
on that record.
I did a bunch of records with him
Did you
because
tour?
once
Did you tour with him?
never toured with him. I
Mm-hmm.
only did I did two shows with him. One was at Radio City Music Hall because I think he was there for like 2 nights, sold out 2 nights. And so I did, well, actually, I don't know, does 2 nights count as two gigs or is that one?
Yeah, I mean that's two gigs.
And then because I played there with him on Saturday Night Live. I did Saturday Night Live with him
I'm gonna
when
have to
he
look that up.
yeah, I did Saturday Night Live, and if you look at Saturday Night Live, that horn was the last time that weekend was the last time I saw that horn because I did two shows with him at Radio City. We did Saturday Night Live. I can't remember because I think Saturday Night Live was first because we were trying to promote. They were trying to promote the show, so they
Yeah,
got him
that
on
makes
Saturday
sense.
Night Live. Yeah, so we did Saturday Night Live. This one they had Michael Brecker in the band, and he sounded like God. I mean, I was like freaked out because he told me, "Yo, man, that was a really good solo that you did." I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh no." Yeah, because that week I also ran into Bradford Marcellos, and he even knew the solo. He said, "Yo, man, that solo is hot that you did. I really like that." I was like, "Oh shit," because we rehearsed at SIR, and we
Yeah.
were running all to these people. I was like, "Oh shit, people know who I am." So, um, well,
What is this like
anyway,
85, 86, 85, 84 or something like that?
this was like more like 83, 84.
Okay.
I think we recorded that record in 83 because I went out on tour with Kashif in 84.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just more, this might have been like around 83, 83.
Do you
Yeah.
remember who the host was on SNL?
Shit, I don't remember. I really don't remember.
That's like one of the shows I really want to do. I've always wanted to do SNL. I mean, I've done a lot of
Yeah.
the other ones, but SNL,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I think the cool one that I did, I mean this was after the real cool TV show that we did was after Billy Ocean and Kashif and all the stuff in between was when I got with my group and Family Sand and we did David Letterman.
Oh yeah.
David Letterman was really cool, man,
But
because
that
he
was
was
in
like,
the old space before he moved to CBS, right?
yeah, yeah,
Because I
it
think he
was
moved to
on.
CBS in '92. So was it
Was
before that? Was it at the Ed Sullivan Theater? Because that's where he was from like
we
90.
actually we actually was this was like in the this was in the 90s when we did David Letterman.
Yeah, no, but it was like probably like the early. Because
Early
if it was
90s.
before '92, it was probably in the old. Was it on
Yeah, yeah.
on the in the NBC spot wherever that was? I think it's
I think it was on Broadway and 50
Yeah.
something street.
Somebody else has that. One of these. Who took his spot? Somebody has his
Maybe
spot.
Broadway 53rd, 54th Street or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. Something
But
like that.
it was cold, right? It was cold as shit in there.
No, I don't remember it being cold.
Oh, because you're very affected by the temperature, and
Absolutely, man. And
so that.
black people don't take cold too well,
But
man.
that's the thing with the Letterman thing is that like he kept the studio freezing because his idea was it keeps people awake and
I don't remember
alert.
it. I don't remember it being cold. I just remember him really liking the band because Paul Schaefer used to come to our shows all the time. You
Mm-hmm.
know, he was like a big fan of ours because we used to like sell out tramps all the time. So um, yeah, but we got off of the Billy Ocean thing, and what were we talking about? Billy Ocean? It
We're
wasn't. It
like
must not have been.
we're like chronologically doing your career.
Yeah, man, it's lucky because sometimes it's a blur to me because I never think about it. I
Yeah.
never think about it until times like this, and people remind me that I did such and such, or I take time to look at around me at things that I've done.
Yeah.
So, and I never take time to do that. So,
So between Billy Ocean, between like that point in the mid '80s to when you started doing Family Stand, how did that? What was that path like in
oh,
between?
right after I worked with uh, Kashif, I started working with, because I guess now Kashif and I grew up together. I've known Kashif since he was 14, 15 years old. And then next thing I knew, he had a dream of being a producer and an artist.
Mm-hmm.
And I linked back up with him in right at the time when he was like having all of this success with Evelyn Champagne King
Oh
and
yeah,
George
yeah.
Benson and Whitney Houston. I linked up with him and worked in his organization, New Music Group.
Mm-hmm.
I never signed anything with him because I was always anti-signed about anything. I didn't even want to sign the contracts with Family Stan and the record company. But if we wanted to work and get paid, that's what you do. I'm always against signing contracts. So, but but I worked with Will Downing. Me and
Mm-hmm.
Will Downing did a lot of work together early because we was writing songs and doing sessions. And I met him through Barry Eastman. Because me and Barry Eastman used to write. We used to do the Chitlin circuit together. We used to play gigs with this guy, Dave Robinson, who was like setting up all these wedding gigs and stuff. And me and Barry was doing, and I actually wasn't playing sax because Dave Robinson played sax. I played guitar on those gigs. A
Mm.
lot of those wedding band gigs and whatever gigs he was set up the Chitlin circuit. So Barry Eastman, we just started writing together. We would go over his house. He had like one of those TR-808.
Mm-hmm.
Remember those little
Mm-hmm.
TR-808 drum machines?
Mm-hmm.
And we used to just write songs together. I used to do lyrics and he'd come up with chords and then he used to get them placed. So he told me one day about this guy to sing a demo. He said, "Oh, man, I know this guy, Will Downing, man. He's only 18 years old." And he sounded like a full grown man. I said, "Oh, shit, he's only 18." And I met him and we started working together. We started doing sessions and writing together. And when I was living in Ebbets Field, he came over my house one day and told me about this guy that needed a flute on some song that he was writing. And he said his name was Peter Lord. So he let me hear the song, and I heard the song, and I immediately wanted to meet Pete.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what he looked like. I didn't care what he looked like. I just knew this, whatever the song was, and I heard him singing. I said, okay, I got to meet this guy. So he
Mm-hmm.
brought him over my house one day, and first person I thought of when I saw him was Larry Dunn, Earth, Wind, and Fire, because
Mm-hmm.
he looked like Larry Dunn to me. Because Pete's like 6'5", so you know. So, he came over, and I don't remember if he said I did the flute, but I don't remember. All I knew was that I wanted to work with him. So we established a relationship, and we started writing songs. We got hooked up with Atlanta. This guy Timmy Regisford, who was like A&R for another company. It was in Atlanta. Maybe it was Atlantic. He was giving us all of this work, this production work,
Mm-hmm.
because I do productions in my living room. I had my own studio set up. I had all of this stuff because I wanted to produce. I wanted to have, so I would actually make my songs sound good enough, to let them know that these were not just songs we were trying to sell. We were trying to sell our production as well. So we have control of the music or whoever was going to do it. And most
Mm-hmm.
of the times that happened, so we submit songs to them, and then he hooked us up with Sylvia Rowan and Merlin Bob at Atlantic. They were just starting out, and they hired us as producers, to produce artists on that label because they were putting their rosters together, and they needed songs, and so songs we had a bunch of songs,
Yeah.
a lot of things that we were doing, and we submitted songs to them, and we had like different lead singers doing different our demos for us. Lisa Fisher was one of the early ones that did
She's amazing.
demos. Yeah, and I knew Lisa from actually the Billy Ocean session,
Mm-hmm.
because the first time I met her was like when I went in to do Caribbean Queen back in '83. That was the first time I met Lisa Fisher, because she was doing background vocals, and me and her had been friends from what for that long. But and then so she did a lot of early demos for. We had a bunch of people doing demos for us, and then one day Merlin asked us. He said, "Why don't y'all?" Why don't y'all just put together a group, man? We'll sign y'all. So we said, now, being in a group and wasn't like what was on my mind. I was just thinking about writing and producing. That's where my heart was. But Pete was an artist. He wanted to be an artist. So I kind of rolled with him. So um, Lisa, Lisa, Lisa stopped doing demos for us because she started going on the road with Luther and getting all these big gigs and with Sting, and so
Mm-hmm.
she said my girl Sandra lives in Dallas, and I could hook you up with her. So we actually met Sandra because at the time Lisa was on tour with Luther Vandross, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they were doing a gig in Dallas, right? And at the same time, we were slated. Me and Pete and I were slated to produce this band called the Mac Band. There was a they had a hit record with Babyface called Roses Are Red at the time that was a hit for them, and we were slated to go to Dallas the same time that Luther had a show in Dallas at their arena. And so Lisa called us up and said, "Well, I could hook you up with my girl Sandra, because I can invite her to the show and y'all can meet and link up." So we met Sandra at uh, at the show, and told her what we were trying to do. That we needed a lead singer, and she said she wasn't living in New York at the time, but she said, "Yeah, well, I'm coming back to New York to live." So, she eventually came back. She started doing demos for us, and apparently nobody sounded like. So that's actually when Merlin said, "You guys should start a group. Y'all should put something together."
Mm.
So we did one album with them, was called Yvonne Jeffries in the Stand. That's
Right.
this
That's
album
right.
right here, called Chapters.
That was 89, something like that.
Yeah, that was like no, yeah, it was, yeah, because we were signed with them in '88.
Mm-hmm.
We signed with them in '88 because I
Mm-hmm.
think Moon and Scorpio was '90. Yeah, I think Moon and Scorpio was like around in '90. You know,
Was that your?
so we did.
Was that the second or third record?
Let me think about it. No, wait a minute. We My timeline is a little messed up because there was chapters. There was
What was the album with Ghetto Heaven?
that was Chain. That was this album right here.
So that's 90 though, right? Chain is
It might
90.
have been 90.
Because
I
I
mean,
think
my
Moon and
timeline is
Scorpio was 91,
maybe 91,
92.
91, 92. Yeah, my timeline is a little bit messed up, but that's the order of the album.
Right.
So anyway, Merlin said y'all should put together a group, and after the first album, um, we decided that the name was a little bit too, I don't know, inaccessible. Yvonne Jeffries in the Stand. It was cool, but it was like a little bit. So we went up to Merlin's office one day, and he said, "Yo, man," we told him we wanted to change the name of the group, and he said, "Okay." So we couldn't think of anything at the time. So he just kept on blurting out names. And then when he said Family Stand, he kept going. But when he said Family Stand, Pete and I looked at each other because we knew that was it. So we said, okay, that's it. That's it, the Family Stand, because he was basically trying to maybe bounce off of Yvonne Jeffries in the Stand, something with the stand in it. So, because at first we were even thinking about calling ourselves the Stand, but we didn't want to be, blocking.
That's a cool band name.
What, the Stand?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we was thinking about Stephen King.
Right, because wasn't it inspired by that book?
I don't know if
read
it was
somewhere that Sandra was a fan of the book, and
well, if you notice in this album, she's holding if you ever notice in that album cover, she's holding the Stand.
A copy of the Stand?
A copy of the Stand, yeah. Yeah.
So it's safe to say she was a fan of that book, probably.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
So then
Sandra's too deep for the masses.
So then you guys did Chain, right? It was the first one as the
We did Chain. Yeah, we did Chain. After we did and that's when we changed our name to the Family Stand. And we did all of these songs on the record, and we came up with Ghetto Heaven. How we came up with Ghetto Heaven, that was actually inspired by, Salaam Remi?
I don't.
Salaam Remi's big time producer. He produced the Fugees, Nas.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You know him if you see him. Big time producer. Salaam Remi is the son of my friend Van Gibbs. Van Gibbs and I grew up together doing the Chitlin circuit. We knew we were close friends. He used to work with my friend, probably my oldest friend to this day. His name is Kent Nix. Kent Nix produced Heartbeat, the classic song Heartbeat. You know that song Heartbeat? Heartbeat.
Yes.
You make me feel so weak.
Yes.
Big classic song that every rapper in the world probably sampled. He wrote and produced all of that stuff. And he used to have me playing on all of his records. I played on this song Funky Sensation? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? My funky sensation. You'll know it if you heard it. I played on all of that stuff because, he used to hire the horn section, me, my cousin, L.A. Blacksmith, Tyrone Cox, and Raymond Reed. We all played in the group back in the day. Our first band was called The New Breed, right? And we used to play sessions on all of that stuff. Anyway, what was I talking about? Chain?
Yeah. You're
okay.
About going into the.
Oh yeah.
You're talking about Ghetto Heaven. How
Ghetto
it was
Heaven.
Inspired, yeah.
Yeah, that song was pretty much inspired by Salaam Remi because after our first album, Pete and I were like kind of disappointed and bummed out about the way the record company, they just didn't promote our first album. They didn't know what to do with us because we were so different on the label. There was a lot of groups on the label that was, they knew how to market them because they were, I guess, more commercial than us, but they didn't know exactly what to do with us because we were different with stuff that we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't exactly fit in with what they were doing, but they didn't want to give up on us and have it signed somewhere and then blow up. you know. So we did a second album with them, and we wrote all of these songs right up there in Ebbsfield in Brooklyn. And re, me and Pete talked about how we were gonna ideas about how are we gonna make ourselves more marketable or our whole business. So I said, well, my friend Van Gibbs, he knows a lot about the business. He knows a lot about the bullshit. I said we should have a meeting with him. So this was when he was on 54th Street between 11th and 10th and 11th Avenue. I think it was 54th or 53rd. So we set up a meeting with him. We had a talk. He told us a lot of stuff, gave us a lot of information. And so we hear some music coming from in the basement, right? So I said, so we said, well, what's that music? Who's down in the basement? He said, that's my son Salam. He's gonna be a producer. He's gonna be a big producer. He wants to produce records. So he said, you want to go down in here? So we went down and heard him putting together, sampling shit and putting together shit. And then I looked over at Pete, and Pete was like, he was getting hyped because ideas, his wheels started turning. Yeah. And he said, okay, we got to go. So because he, all that time, he said, I got an idea, man. So we went straight back to my house and we worked on Ghetto Heaven, straight back to my house. And the first thing he heard was ba 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 ba, and I found the beat. I found that funky drummer beat because the original version is not the version that actually hit. The original version, because when we did the song and handed it into the record company, they immediately liked it, right? But they thought it needed a remix, and they thought that we needed to come from a different place other than try and be in the muck of what was happening here. And so, they had Jazzy B, Soul to Soul, there was Soul to Soul remix on it, and the record blew up huge over there. It was like really huge. So by the time it got here, people thought we were a London-based group. They thought a lot of people thought we were from London because the record was so huge from there. And Jazzy B, they're from London. That whole Jazzy B, Nelly Hope and them cats were from London. So that's the story of Ghetto Heaven.
I vividly remember when that was a hit.
Yeah, that was
because I used to listen to a lot of pop radio at the time.
Yeah,
and the pop
they
radio.
Didn't really.
It was.
They never played it on pop. Yeah.
In DC, they did. Yeah. There was
okay. Yeah. Hey,
there
man.
was a
look.
station called WAVA that was like the station I listened to. At that time a lot, and yeah, it was on there for sure.
This is gonna sound crazy to you. I've been I've been to a lot of places in the world, and DC was always my favorite place to be.
Was it really?
I swear to God, DC was always my place. I was always looking forward to go and hang and play in DC.
Right. Well,
and I've been all over the world.
It was one of your favorite places, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to always I used to love DC, man. For some reason, it's crazy, especially been all over the world, been in different places, and
DC has a vibe for sure.
It
still does, even through all the changes,
Yeah.
So
after that, we were still kind of, even though we had success with Ghetto Heaven, the company couldn't really find a way to follow up, because we built all of this momentum. And even when the record supposedly died down, it was still selling, but they didn't know how to really follow up. And we didn't have another song on the record like that. I think they may have tried to release this other record we have, In Summer I Fall, as a single, but that didn't go too well. So they didn't really know. They didn't know what to do after that. So that's when we had slated to do another album. We did Moon and Scorpio, and that record was like, we said fuck all this shit. We're gonna do whatever we want.
That's kind of a heavy record, right?
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
we weren't concerned about whether they were going to push it or not. We just wanted to make some kind of classic record. We wanted to, we were gonna. It's like we were swinging for the fences. We're gonna go out swinging rather than
Right.
make any kind of concessions about the way we wanted to to to, to do our music or create music. And we weren't even letting them come to the sessions. You know,
Mm.
we didn't even let them come to the sessions. We didn't let them hear nothing until the end. So that was our classic album. And then after that, things died out. Sandra, her contract was up because the contract that me and Pete had with the company was different from Sandra. So she was able to basically leave and do a solo thing,
Mm-hmm.
which was best, you know. So we kind of helped her out with some other producers that she had on some stuff that she put out. And then that's when we got Jackie McGee, and we had done one more album with them, uh, the Connected album.
See, I remember Connected really well because that I was in high school when that came out.
Yeah, that to me, that to me is like probably one of my favorite
It's
albums
it's
sonically for us.
it's pretty good. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
It's pretty
because
good.
the same engineer we had that because we produced Corey Glover's first solo record,
It was
and
like
we
the
used
same
this.
year, right? Around the same
I don't
time.
know if it was the same year, but it was around the same time.
Mm-hmm.
We produced Corey Glover's first solo record, and we used the same engineer to record that record. His name was Jay Mark, and to me, sonically, that's one of my favorite records that we've done.
I
You know?
remember in DC there was promo for that record everywhere.
Yeah,
Even in my
yeah.
high school, there were like stickers of the album cover on lockers and shit.
Yo, really?
Yes, yeah.
Wow,
I
wow.
remember that
Okay.
so well. I was like, "Oh, what's that?"
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, it was big in DC.
Yeah, yeah, it was. I mean, I think we came to DC a couple of times to do some things, because we had gotten Jackie McGee, and she was, I don't know what, she was cool. She was cool, but I think she didn't really get what the group was really about. She liked being in the group, and I felt like when we were together, we had a vibe.
Hmm.
We definitely had a vibe, but she had just come off of she was with Keith Sweat, and she had a song that they did called "Make It Last Forever." So she was like, she couldn't understand. She asked, "Well, why are the lyrics so deep? Why you got to say it that way?" And we just had a hard time with them. We was like, "This is who we are." And I think she didn't really get. I mean, she knew about us, but she didn't really know about us. And it wasn't until we did a show in London. Uh, and sold the place out. The place was packed for 2 shows. That's when she kind of figured out what we were about because we went back to London. We did a show in London, and it was just nuts over there.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So what happened after Connected?
Um, we did. Let me see what's the
Because
timeline.
because
When
you
was
didn't you guys
connected?
didn't do a record again until
No, we didn't
Super
do a
Soul,
record
right?
again.
Super
I
Soul
think
Nova.
no. Oh yeah, until Super Soul Nova.
So that
When
was a
did that
good 10
happen?
years. About a 10-year.
Yeah, we did Super Soul Nova. That's
This
when I
one.
was living. I had actually moved. I'd actually moved there because we didn't do a record for a long time because Pete was going through some stuff.
Hmm.
I think his mom was in bad health, and and I didn't know where his head was, and you know, we just didn't. He just didn't do anything for a little while, and then somehow we reconnected with Sandra, and we did Super Soul Nova. That's when I was living on right down the block from Ebbets Field, where I lived in the basement, is where I found Marcus Machado, because Marcus was upstairs
Well,
working with
that
my
that was
friend.
when I worked with you on those ESPN tracks. Is that same place?
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
you worked
it
on, you
was
worked
around the
at,
same time, I think.
yeah, 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 you worked on the ESPN tracks. Yeah, because I had Marcus coming down doing doing stuff for me, just stuff
Mm-hmm.
on the slide. I was
Mm-hmm.
creating, writing stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
he would come down and say, yeah, man, anytime you need something, I'm right upstairs. And
Yeah.
he's upstairs, like, working on stuff. And I call him down to play bass or guitar. Marcus is bad, man. So I said,
Yeah.
so, we did that album, and I told Pete and Sandra about him, and he said, yo, man, I got this young kid, man, that, you know, does work for me. And y'all need to take a listen to him. And they heard him, and they said, yeah, that guy is it. So I asked Mark. So we were slated to go over to Europe to play the Paradisium. I think we played something else before that. So I asked him, I said, yo, man, you got your passport? So because he was about 18 or something like that. I said, you got your passport? He said, no. I said, get your passport. You're going to go on the road with us. So he got his passport, and the rest is history. He was like, and then at the same time, Ronnie was playing with us. So it was him and Ronnie.
Oh, I didn't know him and Ronnie were together in Family Stand. I knew Ronnie was in the band in the 90s, right? Like early
Yeah, he
90s.
came back because we did, I think Ronnie was in that because we did a show at the Paradisium in Amsterdam.
Mm-hmm.
And Scooter, Scooter
Yeah,
Warner?
drummer. Yeah,
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 he
yeah.
played drums. And Leslie Lemon was playing bass.
Mm-hmm.
Tom was back on keyboards.
Mm-hmm.
And Marcus, I think maybe Marcus was by himself. Maybe Marcus was by himself because we probably didn't have it in the budget to have two guitar players anymore. Because at the time we had three guitar players with me because I was playing acoustic guitar
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't have to play acoustic guitar. It's just that I needed something to do.
But Ronnie was also with Nona Hendrix still at that time, right? So he was.
No, I think Ronnie at the time Ronnie was doing other stuff, but he was our guitar player because he came in like around Moon and Scorpio
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because he did that whole album, and then he had been with us for some years. He came out in around Moon and Scorpio. I think he did Nona after us is when he started doing a lot of Nona Hendrix things.
Man, about to be a year since he passed.
Yeah, I know, man. Is he passed in what, January, February?
February, I think 8th. You see what Stephanie got me for my birthday last year?
No.
I said, I only want one thing for my birthday this year. Oh, I'm going to show you.
Okay. Oh shit, that's dope.
I was like, I want a framed picture of Ronnie, and she got me this one.
Oh shit, that is dope.
So I keep it on my altar over there.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's
I was
dope,
like
man.
really happy to. Yeah, but Ronnie Drayton,
Yeah, man. I mean,
one of the greatest ever.
yeah, man. And he let you know that shit too.
Yeah, that's right. But then
He
he
let you
would
know
he
too.
would reflect if he saw greatness in others, he would reflect that
Oh,
in them,
absolutely, absolutely. He
which
gave
was like,
everybody their roses. He
you
didn't,
know,
you
I,
know.
I remember the first time I met him, he was in a crowd outside of like some club in the village, and he was in a
Yeah, yeah.
crowd of people talking to people, and he just like jumped out of the crowd and like ran up to me and gave me a hug and was like, "It's so good to
Yeah.
see you." And I was like, "Jeff, I think he thinks I'm someone else." And you were like, "Nah, he knows who you are." I'm like, "Are you sure?" It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
always
yeah.
like we already knew each other or something
Yeah.
since
Yeah,
the
he was that
beginning.
kind of guy, man. He was definitely a unique guy. And yeah, I'm telling you, he played on an album that kind of changed my life, man. That album by Edwin Birdsong. You
A
ever heard
lot of
that?
people, yeah, a lot
Oh
of
my God,
people
man.
cite that as a very important record,
Oh
right?
man. And the thing about it, man, because I used to listen to that album so much, man,
Mm-hmm.
that I couldn't believe it. I mean, that was like kind of a game changer for me. And I didn't even know that it was Ronnie until he got in our group. I didn't know it was Ronnie because he was gone by the name Head.
That's
That because
right.
I used
That's
to read
right.
all of the credits,
That's
and he
right.
was. I said, "Who does this guy
Who's
Head?"
this guy
I
had?
didn't know. I mean, that album was like a game changer for me, man.
Yeah.
I just remember playing that album over, and I used to go to sleep at night listening to it over and over again. And we
Wow.
did a cover of that when we produced Corey's record, Rising Sign.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did a cover of that.
The hymns album.
The Hymns album,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Because what was the one I did with you for Corey? It was like supposedly the sequel, The Pledge. I don't
The
know.
Pledge,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's like
yeah,
kind of out too.
yeah. I mean, just getting Corey out of a bind. I was getting Corey out of a bind because I think he's signed with some company and
Well, that pledge
he
music,
need,
that pledge music thing, it was kind of like a crowd fund. It was set up as like a
yeah, yeah,
crowd fund for specifically to put out records. And it was like, oh, we're going to connect to your audience. And it's going to be this whole sort of
yeah,
network.
yeah,
They went under. That whole company got
yeah.
a
I know.
class action against them because they were
Why?
not coughing up money to artists that were like getting money on these campaigns.
Really?
Yeah, they're done now. Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting because I mean that's another story. But I did that album and I was happy to do that album, man, because I was living over on Knickerbocker Avenue at the
That's
time, and
right. Bushwick.
Corey needed a record. He needed the record done. He
Yeah.
needed to have the record done.
Yeah, man.
So and Guy hooked me up. Guy hooked us up on the first record. Guy Rute.
Mm-hmm.
He hooked us up on Corey's first record. But Pete wasn't around, so I did the record myself, and that was a really good record, man.
You're talking about The Pledge.
The Pledge album, yeah, that
Yeah,
was a good record,
I
man.
was happy to participate. I was like, I loved that. It's
Yeah,
awesome. It's great.
that was a really good record, man.
Mm-hmm. Stranglehold on the Hustle. Remember that
Stranglehold on the Hustle, that's right. I
one?
wrote that about Lukman.
I know.
Yeah,
I
it's
love that track.
Lukman's song.
That's a
Yeah,
great track. Yeah, I remember I was on that one, and there was another one I was on.
you
It was
did.
a ballad. It was like a
Yeah,
ballad.
yeah.
Yeah.
Down, 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 down,
Oh
down.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Then it was in 6/8. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
'Cause we had Steph sing on the backgrounds.
That's right.
Yeah. Steph
Aw.
sang in the backgrounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. You and I have, you've done a lot of stuff, but even you and I have done a lot of stuff. Like I was saying in the
Yeah.
beginning, it's just like I've been part of so many things with you. It's crazy.
Yeah, man. Even with Burnt Sugar, man. I mean, you know, that was kind of an interesting kind of feat. I really love Burnt Sugar.
Yeah.
In spite of all of the stuff that goes on and doesn't go on, they feel like real family to me.
It is. It's family. It's so
Yeah,
family.
they feel
And,
like family to me, man.
Yeah,
And I
absolutely.
think what main reason that I really was interested in being a part of Burnt Sugar was because of Greg Tate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Greg, I remember guys like Greg and Daryl McNeil, they used to interview us and they were always supportive of us. They used to always give us good write-ups. And, I just kind of felt like, okay, this is my man. He's got a group and, he's a different guy. I didn't even know Greg played guitar. And I like the way Greg plays.
I love the way Greg
I
plays.
love the way he plays, man.
Absolutely. Yeah.
He just comes up with he's like in his own space,
And
and
I
he's
love
not
his,
afraid.
and he has this really interesting touch.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've been in a room with him, right? Like just watching his hands.
Yeah,
Because I've had to cop a lot of that stuff, and I try to get the touch and the feel, and it's like his own. He's got his own thing. It's
and
really,
Jared
really
too.
cool. Yeah. Oh my God, Jared is like
Yeah,
a singular voice of the bass.
yeah. He's like an old school bass player. I've never heard Jared all the times that we play with him do no popping and slapping. He's never done that shit. He's like straight old school James Jamerson bass player.
Well, we were listening to Steph and I were listening to Mandrill like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And they had some track that it was like totally reminded me of Jared. I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
this sounds like Jared like learned this note for note and was like,
Yeah. I wish I could play. I always told him if I was a real bass player, I'd want
he's
to
a
play like that.
he's a great bass player.
Yeah. He's got definitely got his own thing, man.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but that band is, I mean, I don't have the same history with them as you do, but like, you know, I feel the same way. Like it's like I would do
I don't think
anything.
I got in. I don't think I got in too much longer than you.
No, but I mean,
Yeah.
you've known a lot of those people a
Oh,
lot
well,
longer than I have, you know.
well, actually, no. The only one that I could say that I really knew in that band was Greg. All of those other guys, I was kind of meeting for the first time.
You didn't
You
know
know,
Jared, you didn't know
I didn't know Jarrett. I didn't. I mean, I knew of them and they knew of me. But I didn't really know them. I mean, because they knew me from the work that I had done. You know, whether it was Family Stand, but a lot of those. The only one I really knew was Greg. You know,
well,
only
you
one
knew me.
well, I'm talking about. Well, we came in kind of together, right?
No, I was in it a little longer than you. I
Okay.
think I started doing stuff with Burnt Sugar when we were with Boston. You and I were with
Oh,
Boston,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
I
Okay.
started
Yeah,
doing
because you did start doing it a little before.
stuff with Burnt Sugar, and you were like, "Hey, what's up with that group?" I was like, "You should come."
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I think you were like, "Yeah, I don't know about that." I'm like, "No, you should come by to." I think I told you to come to something, and then like Greg saw you and was like, "Yeah, come on up."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It might have been like Tonic or something, one of those places.
Tonic, wow. Yeah,
Remember
Tonic
Tonic?
was, yeah, I remember Tonic over there on Delancey Street and,
No, it was Norfolk and
yeah, and
Delancey. Yeah,
Delancey.
that was
Yeah.
the first time I played with Burnt Sugar. Was at Tonic.
I remember Tonic from Boston. Didn't Boston do
Yeah,
Tonic?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The
Yeah, I
first
remember
time I
Boston
played
at
at
Tonic.
the first time I ever played Tonic, I think was with Boston.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I played Tonic a
Yeah,
lot.
man.
I played there a lot of times with a lot of people.
Yeah,
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 that was a cool
yeah.
place.
It was. It was like kind of loud and, you know, obtrusive, but
Yeah.
but yeah, man. Out of memories. Sometimes we got our memories, man. And it's like I would never think of this stuff on my own unless I'm doing something like this.
Well,
Because then you jog my memory about a lot of things,
it's funny
that I don't
because
think about.
when I asked you to do this, you're like, "Oh man, I don't have anything to talk about." It's like, yeah, right.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I mean, I kind of know that once I get going and you start, depending on what you ask me, I got a perspective about certain things,
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
even till, especially lately, I've been like, even with what happened with the pandemic, told you I have time, as we all do, have time to think and reflect, not so much about where we're going, but you know what we're doing, why we're in this space, and what does it all mean, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and how
Mm-hmm.
do we move forward from that? And
Mm-hmm.
in order to move forward, you got to kind of sit and reflect and think about, you know, what you want to do, where you want to go. I want to continue to create because I'm having fun right now creating,
Yeah.
because my new passion is like doing these videos. I'm like up on YouTube all night trying to learn how to do this stuff. And it's just fun to me. It's just, and like I say, I always do what I want to do,
That's right.
what's passionate for me,
So
I don't want to get stuck doing.
your first video that you did yourself was that for Paradigm Shift, right?
For paradigm shift, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was like, you know,
So we're gonna put up
because
a link for Paradigm Shift because we want to plug all of your stuff.
well, you have my link tree, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna put all that up, but Paradigm Shift we can talk about because that's kind of like your latest, one of your more recent singles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That along with the family stand stuff, paradigm shift came about from Mel. You know who
Melanie.
Melanie is, right?
Oh, of course.
She wanted to write, she wanted to do something. And I don't think the song exactly came out exactly with what she had in mind, but she trusted me so much that she went with it. And she gave me some lyrics that was maybe 3 pages. I said, this is too much for lyrics. So
It was
I
an
kind of took,
essay.
oh, pretty much, pretty much. It was kind of all over the place. So I just kind of organized it. And I I think the first thing I came up with is the trying to make some kind of structure with the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay, I got to write some music to this in order. So I went and I came up with the track, and I just kind of straightened out some of the lyrics, added some of my stuff, and she heard it and she said, "Oh, this is dope." But she didn't say it was dope. She wouldn't say that, but she said, "This is really good."
She
She
said
was
it was
excited.
fly. She was like, "This is
So
fly."
no, she didn't even say that. So Melanie's a real bona fide white girl, man. She wouldn't say that shit. But she said she really liked it. So, she was really excited because I said, okay, I think we should do a video. I said, because make something visual because the song is saying so much. And that's when I got into experimenting. It was the breakdown. Final Cut Pro had a 3-month trial. I said, okay,
Yeah.
let me try, because I started working in iMovie, and I
It's
said,
very
okay, if I'm
limited.
gonna,
Yeah.
yeah, I said, if I'm
Yeah.
gonna do this, I might as well go for it. So let me see what this is like. And after like maybe the first few days, I knew I was gonna buy it. I mean, I went through the whole 3-month period, and then I just started experimenting, coming up with ideas. I was on YouTube trying to learn the program as
Mm-hmm.
I was working.
Mm-hmm.
I do a
Mm-hmm.
little something, then go on YouTube for about a couple of hours and watch some tutorials, come back, and
Yeah.
then because that first video I did with my iPhone, and then I said, okay, I want to make this stuff better. So I went and I bought me like a real makeshift professional semi-pro camera for about $700, and started. And I got a lot better since then in terms of doing this
Is it
stuff.
like a GoPro? Did you get a GoPro or something like that?
No, it's actually a Canon SL3
Mm-hmm.
camera.
Mm-hmm.
It's a DSLR camera.
Mm-hmm.
you know so you know it was like I said, wow, this is a lot for a camera. But they have cameras for like three four
Yeah.
thousand dollars. I'm like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
for
Yeah.
real. So so that's how that came about. And she was really excited, and I was happy because that was kind of the first thing she had done in a while,
Yeah.
that she could put her name on. And I wanted to see her,
And
be excited about.
she played bass and co-wrote the song. Yeah.
She called, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and she's in the
yeah.
video. I think a lot of people are in the video, right?
You in the
Because
video.
we
I got
sent some
Maritri in the
like, yeah,
video.
yeah, yeah.
I got my grandkids in the video. She got some of her friends' kids in the video. Pete's kids are in the video. Sandra's in the video. Yeah,
Because it was kind of about what we're going through now, or like that,
absolutely. Yeah,
about
paradigm shift.
being, you know, locked in at home and the
Yeah, I
pandemic and all
mean,
that.
yeah, boss. I mean, it was kind of about what we're going about, because it was a paradigm shift. This is something that we haven't seen before. We
Mm-hmm.
haven't seen this be, at least you and me in this lifetime. Maybe our grandparents have seen. But wasn't there? What was the last
Yeah, the
pandemic?
last big
Spanish
one
flu.
and it was 100 years ago. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I can't. I talk about this a lot. Imagine what that was like, where you don't have, maybe don't even have a telephone, and you
Whew.
definitely don't have internet, and you don't have Netflix.
Yeah.
You don't have shit. You're just like reading and
You
trying to
don't.
survive and just do whatever to pass the time and
Shit. No Pornhub. Nothing, man.
nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's out.
No, but yeah, we're kind of lucky in a way that we have things like this and that there's ways to connect. There's ways
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
connect.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. I mean, I think it's a as strange and as bad as last year was, I mean, if you kind of kept yourself safe and out of harm's way, man, I mean, things kind of work out because, you know, we lost a lot of people, man. I mean, I lost my best friend to this thing, man. It's
Mm-hmm.
like I couldn't believe that, I talked to him the day that he went to get checked out because he was like not feeling good. He was coughing and they kept him and then they put him on a ventilator and he got off the ventilator. Once they said he thought he was safe enough to get off the ventilator. And then that night he had a massive heart attack.
Ooh.
So this thing kind of takes you out in so many different ways, man. Even when you have it and you recover, man, there's still
Yeah,
side
long
effects that
lasting.
happen.
Yeah.
There's
Scary.
some people that still have like some side effects from this thing, man. So
Scary.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is scary, man. And I don't know what this vaccine thing is going to do, but I'm not
People
really,
people are getting it. I mean, we'll see. We have to see what we have to see how
well,
it goes.
I'm not trying to be that dove, man. Let other people be that dove that goes out and checks and see how it works out,
What if after like 6 months people are cool for the most part?
I
Would you
don't
get
know.
it?
I mean, I've never gotten a vaccine.
Not for
I mean, I
anything? Not even when
probably,
you were a kid?
except for maybe when I was a kid, I don't
Yeah.
remember that. But in terms of my adult, I never took
Yeah.
any flu shots. I never did any of that stuff. I
I've never
just
had a flu
tried.
shot either. I think the last vaccine I got was like in my early 20s. I got the hepatitis B vaccine or something like that. It
Right.
was like but I had already had hepatitis A before that. So I don't even know. But they had it. My dad was like, you should go get that. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I've never really in my adult life remember ever getting any vaccines. I try and just kind of keep myself healthy and out of harm's way.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, I really miss people. I mean,
yeah,
I do like being. I am kind of a homebody. I like kind of being home and working, and I don't
I
mind
love
the
being by
space.
myself, bro.
But I do miss people. I miss hugging people. I miss going out. I miss playing gigs.
I think,
You
I
know.
think, I think, I mean, this is not like a big thing for me to be by myself because I love
Yeah.
being by myself in my space and not have to answer to anybody. And, I'm kind of used to that. And I create that kind of situation for throughout my life, I've always created that situation for myself where I don't have to be beholden to anybody or anything. I could have my space, come and go as I want, But then, you have your moments when you want to be around people but then, that's only gonna last for a few days for me, a day or two,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, man. So, how do you feel that the journaling you've been doing has like helped you through the last? Since you started in
I
August, you said.
I started this in August,
Mm-hmm.
July, August, something like that. It's helped me because it usually I kind of keep things to myself and I don't really talk to people about a lot of stuff, whether it's good or whether stuff is going good or going bad. I keep a lot of stuff to myself and things that really bother me that I need to tell somebody. I figured the best way. And I just made a decision that I needed to and I didn't know where to start because it's kind of a late time in my life to be, because some people start this stuff early,
Mm-hmm.
journaling. So I just started this stuff like literally last year. I said, okay, I'm going to have the discipline to like get up every morning and put a little something down, even if it's a couple of lines. Sometimes it winds up being like a whole page of things that happen, but it's at least documented. And it's even like making music, man. I think you should take time to document all your shit throughout your
Mm-hmm.
life and your career, so you can look back and it even kind of gives you an indication of what you were thinking at that time. And it helps you to like maybe grow and evolve. And you could maybe say, okay, well, I don't even think, I don't know if I think that way anymore. Or maybe
Mm.
you still do think that way. Or maybe it answers some questions about yourself that you couldn't understand in that moment. So I think documenting it and then coming back and looking at it later, it's just like, when I'm working on tracks, working on music, working on a production, you get so close to it and you're listening to it and it sounds great to you in that moment, but you really don't know until you get away from it for a little while, get away from it, come back and listen to it. And because if you're feeling the same that you felt when you heard it, then you got something good. I mean, you make some might want to make some minor adjustments, but basically, if you have that same feeling about it when you left, then you on the right track.
Yeah. Yeah, doing this show has kind of been like that for me. It's been like therapy,
Yeah,
you know.
you find
Like
things.
it's really been shifting how I perceive what's going on and how I feel and my awareness and yeah,
Yeah, that's you adjusting to the paradigm shift, man.
that's right.
Yeah, but
Everyone needs to adjust to the paradigm shift.
yeah, I mean, this whole thing with me doing videos and stuff, man, it's been like it's been good for me. It's not that, I've been neglecting music or anything like that, but it's just something new that I love doing, because I could be in here practicing for hours and hours, and that's cool. But, just the fact that I'm, you know, putting a visual to music that I create
Mm-hmm.
is like, something
Mm-hmm.
something that I just love doing, man. And
Yeah.
I'm able to involve people. I'm doing some. I just did this video with my niece and my cousin, my second cousin. So it's a family thing. So it's great. It's great, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one of the things I love about you is that you're always engaged. Even I can remember times where like you'd be driving, I'd be in your car, and you'd have your soprano set up, and like you'd be like
Yeah, yeah,
practicing at the light, and then you put it
yeah,
down.
yeah,
Yeah, you're
yeah,
just
yeah.
always doing stuff constantly.
Yeah, man. I mean, you got to take advantage of the moment, of the opportunities that you have while you're here, man, because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, man.
That's right.
And even if you're being lazy, enjoy that too. Take
That's a good
advantage
point.
and
That's a
take
good point.
advantage and enjoy that too. Just don't stay lazy, but because like as soon as I get off from you, man, I'm watching basketball.
Do you remember the first time we met?
No, we met with Boston, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we met with Boston. I don't even remember how I got to start playing with Boston. Did you introduce me to him and we started playing?
We didn't meet before that. No, I don't know. Maybe he knew you and sought you out or met you somewhere and
I can't
invited you.
remember. I really can't remember how I started playing with Boston.
Right.
I knew I liked him because he was different, he was a
So
little crazy, but he was different, and I liked the fact that he was like edgy and doing different stuff.
so this is Boston Fielder we're talking about. We were in this
We were
band
talking Boston, yeah.
Motherwit. No, I'm saying to the
Okay.
audience.
Oh, I
Yeah.
forgot we was talking to an audience, man.
Yeah, well, people are gonna be like the fly on the wall to this. There's gonna be lots of
Yeah.
flies on the wall, hopefully. But yeah, I liked that band because his songs were really outside the box and really
Outside the
interesting.
box, yeah.
And
Interesting.
like, just approaching his music was like I see every kind of situation as like a chance to like develop your own thing and
Mm-hmm.
grow. I mean, that's kind of obvious, but like that situation, because his songs were so unique, I
Mm-hmm.
felt like I kind of had like my own style just within that band that I didn't have anywhere else.
Yeah, that's what I like about Burnt Sugar too,
Right.
because Burnt Sugar just has their own way of doing shit,
That's
and I
right.
thought I mean, it's not like they're necessarily the greatest musicians in the world, but the fact that they come together and make some stuff happen in a different kind of way is like That's like you want to be around that stuff and you want to root for everybody in the band
That's right.
to
Yeah.
like, you know, because sometimes it's a hot fucking mess, man. Those guys are a hot mess, and then sometimes they're just kind of throwing shit up against the wall and see what sticks, and sometimes we're doing some stuff where you got to kind of be disciplined with the music, and even that's a hot mess, but
Yeah, but we've
it's
pulled
kind of
off
interesting.
with that band has pulled off some serious feats where it's just like
Absolutely, man.
we're
Especially the
putting in the
last thing at
work
the
and
Apollo.
oh my God.
Absolutely, man. That was like probably one of the proudest moments, that last gig we did at the Apollo,
Yeah. I feel
because
I feel like we should all get like advanced like university degrees from playing with Burnt Sugar. No, seriously, yeah, that last
yeah.
Apollo thing.
Yeah, that was like probably one of the proudest moments and moments that I felt great about the band, because we had done so much work, man, especially
Mm-hmm.
you and Leon, and getting
Everybody,
that stuff.
you
That
too,
was
yeah,
a
everybody did,
that was
yeah.
a lot of work, man, and we pulled the stuff off in our own way, man. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
there was a moment when we were doing that gig, man.
So for the
Uh,
audience though, this is real quick. I guess it was Warner's or somebody commissioned us to transcribe the whole Shaft
Chef score,
soundtrack.
yeah,
Yeah, and we played it with the film at the Apollo. This is
Burnt Sugar style.
this is like our last hit before the pandemic, right?
Yeah, it was our last hit before the pandemic, man, and that was like a proud moment, man, because like I said, in between when we were like resting in between the parts, I looked around at the band, and I just looked around and said, wow, man, we came a long way. Everybody was just kind of being disciplined. We
You
had
had
our
to be. You had
music.
no
Yeah,
choice.
we
Yeah.
had to be disciplined, and we pulled that stuff off, man.
Mm-hmm.
We really pulled. I was really proud of the group and Shelly and Julie was sick, right?
Yeah. Everybody. Oh yeah, but
Shelly and Julie were really sick, so that might have
Shelly
been the
thinks she
beginning.
had COVID.
Yeah, I think she did. And that was when nobody knew what
Yeah.
that shit was.
I mean, this
So,
is like February 29th was this gig,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So Shelly and yeah, they probably had that stuff, because Julie was like, they had
Yeah.
all of the symptoms, they had all of the things. And, you know, we were very fortunate because we were around hugging and doing all that stuff and talking. So, you know, but that was the last gig that we did, man.
Yeah.
Very proud moment for
I
Burnt
tell
Sugar.
people like if that, once we were into the pandemic, like, hey, if that's the last gig I ever do, that wasn't a bad way to go out.
Yeah,
Apollo Theater in Harlem,
that's
completely
right.
packed.
Completely packed.
Everybody's going nuts, and it was like we killed it. It was like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
super
mean,
peak experience,
that was definitely a signature moment, man. Packed house. I mean, all the way to the top, it was sold out, man. And we pulled that shit off. We pulled
So,
it off, man.
so the Apollo Theater was my last gig in New York City. I did a handful outside the city in the summer, but it was also my first gig ever in the city was at the Apollo
Really? When?
when I was 17.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
My high school, because I was at a performing arts high school in DC, and there was like like funk band that
Yeah,
was like formed by one of the band directors,
yeah.
and we did amateur night.
Wow. That you did amateur night?
Yeah, and we came up on a bus. Like there was like it was like concert band slash our band, like kind of like a little mini tour, and
Oh man, that
we
must have been interesting.
we
What did
went
y'all
up.
play?
We did a brand new heavy song. We got second place. We got asked to come back and everything. Well,
Okay, okay, okay,
we all graduated. It was like senior year, so it was like we didn't go back. But
okay,
yeah, we did a brand new heavy song, and it was great.
okay,
Everybody liked it. You know,
okay.
I don't know if there's footage of it. I wish there was footage of it. I haven't
Somebody
seen.
probably bootleg on
I
on
have not
YouTube
seen footage
somewhere.
of it, but
They're waiting for you to make it, man.
I mean, I just remember that so vividly, and then like I lived near there at one point, and then that was like that's been a kind of an important place for me.
Yeah, yeah,
And I've had a
yeah.
lot of important experiences there. And then the last
Man.
gig in New York City was there. Um, and I remember when I was this was when it was like before they did all the renovations. So
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the dressing room was kind of like, stuff was crumbling, and it was kind of,
yeah,
the in downstairs.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I remember Miss Kathy. Miss Kathy was
Mhm.
there then, and she's there now. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah.
I know you're talking about.
We talked about it, and I'm glad because I've played in between at least a dozen times.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So so this last time I like talked to her about it. I was like, "Were you here in like the late '90s?" And she's, "Yeah," and I was like
Yeah, I've
telling her
been here
about.
since the 40s.
No, no, she hasn't been there that long. But um, what did when was the first time you played at the Apollo?
In the first band that I ever played in, called the New Breed, or at the time
Uh,
it was called Bobby Bell Production, and
was Bobby Bell the
he was
guitar player?
no, not him, not
Okay,
him. This is a guy that I
there's
knew.
another Bobby Bell.
It's a
Yeah.
guy that I knew when I was in junior high school, who actually got me in my first band, because when I was living on Bushwick Avenue in Brooklyn, uh, I used to practice every day, and I lived, and apparently he would used to walk by, and one day he rang my bell because he heard me practicing, because we lived on the third floor. He rang the bell, and my mother answered the door and said, "There's this guy downstairs, said he wants you want to talk to you about playing in his band." I think I might have been like maybe 14 or 15 or something like that. I told,
Wow.
no, tell him to go away. I don't want to play in no band. But somehow I wound up hooking up with him, and I was playing baritone sax. And he had a
Mm.
James Brown review. He used to do James Brown. He had the James Brown thing down. And we had about 15 or 20 people in the group. Real James Brown production. I'm talking about the famous Flames. We had Go-Go Girls. We had two drummers. Sometimes we had two bass players. We had two get two, three get. It was the whole, and we had like 5, 6 horns. I mean, the stage was crowded, and he used to do the whole James Brown thing. The act that James Brown used to do, "Please, Please," at
Yes.
the end
With
of
the
his set,
cape and
with the
everything.
cape and all
Yep.
of that stuff. Did all of that stuff, played all of that James Brown stuff. And one night we got a show at Amateur Night at the Apollo, and I remember waiting to go on stage, and I remember us being under the stage waiting to go on. And
Hmm.
the band that they had playing was, you ever heard of this guy, Joe Tex?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
he was like the guy that was playing that night. And I remember his band sounded so fucking like powerful, man. It was hit me in my chest, man. Because he
Hmm.
had the horns, he had all this stuff, man. So, we went on, and like I said, we came in second place too.
Mm.
Because we was, we did. I can't remember who came in first, but I remember we came in second too. So
Was this in the '60s, like late '60s,
this might have been shit. I know I must have been like 18. So I don't know if I do the math. Maybe it
'70s,
was
early '70s?
late 60s, late 60s, maybe. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. It might have been late 60s. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it
So
is, man.
going back to when I said, "Do you remember the first time we met?" I remember it vividly.
Okay.
We were at Smash Studios.
Smash on
Smash,
31st Street.
Smash on
No,
what
no,
is
on
it,
37th Street.
36th Street?
36th Street and
Yeah,
8th
it's in the
Avenue.
same building, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Still, I wonder what they're doing now. But
yeah.
it was with Boston, and you came in and you had cargo shorts like down to practically your ankles. You had
Green
a
cargo shorts.
fishnet tank top.
Yeah,
You had sunglasses
yeah,
round, and you
yeah.
had like a jester hat. You know what I'm
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about?
I know exactly. I know the look.
And you
I
came,
still have that look that
you came
I
in,
bring out the
you
box
came in and
sometimes.
you didn't say shit to anybody, and you just sat. You came right next to me to my left, and I was sitting down, and you sat up, and we played some song. I remember I like took a solo or something, and at one point I like looked up at you, and you just were looking down at me, and you had the biggest grin I've ever seen. I was
Yeah.
like, all right, that's the guy. That's the
somebody,
guy. I was like,
somebody
that's the
that
guy.
likes me.
That's the guy right there.
Somebody
Yeah.
that likes my playing. Finally.
No. But no, ever
Yeah,
since
you
then,
sounded great, man. I was like, oh, this guy's great, man.
ever since then
Yeah,
we've been family.
you've
So
been family. Yeah, man, for sure.
yeah. Both my parents always ask about you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I can see your mother. I don't know about your dad though.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
my
your
dad
dad
asks
is
about
cool.
Mikkel because he knows what's going on with Mikkel. He's like, how's Mikkel?
Yeah. Your dad is good. He's good.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah, I
I
know
mean,
your mom is good because your mom is, she be making things happen, man. She stays in the mix.
well, the recent thing is she's in this apartment building in DC. It's you know, a lot of people in the building, and it's her next door neighbor that just moved in is very loud. So she's like, my
Have you
neighbors.
talked to your brother
No, I haven't talked to him in a long time.
a long time, like
Yeah,
years?
I mean, we're not like brother. We're not biological brothers. You know,
What you mean by logic?
my mom was married to his dad, right?
Yeah.
And his dad passed away, and they were only married.
Also,
They were only married a year or two. Yeah,
that was his son
yeah.
by somebody
So
else.
we're not
Okay,
actually
okay, okay.
related, but yeah,
Okay, I got you. I
we
got
haven't
you.
talked in a long time. No.
Because the last time you told me we talked about him, he was playing with Ben Harper or some shit
Yeah,
like
he's
that.
still. I mean, he probably would be. He might be doing recording with him now. I mean, he's still like connected with. He's still
Yeah.
part of that. Yeah, Ben Harper started this because Innocent Criminals was kind of his first band, and
Okay.
he broke. And then he started this other band, Relentless Seven, and so he was in that band. And
Right.
so I think now Ben Harper kind of was going back and forth, and then he had this thing with Charlie Musselwhite, the harmonica player.
No.
Yeah, he had this like blues project with Charlie Musselwhite.
Yeah.
Um, and now nobody knows what's going. No, we texted a bit in the beginning of the pandemic.
Okay.
But
But he's okay though.
I hope so. I think so.
Okay.
Um,
All right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but I don't know. I want to say everybody's cool. I guess. I mean, everybody's got their own little struggles, some big struggles, and
Yeah, everybody's going through their own little quiet desperation with this shit and just trying to adjust,
yeah,
find out how to make things happen. Because when you're used to doing things a certain way for so long and you got to kind of flip things, I mean, it was easy. Probably it's easier for some than others because I was always used to having my own shit in my own space anyway. So it wasn't nothing for me to lock down and,
right.
find ways to long as I had, my music here and I could create and, watch basketball or Netflix, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm really, really good, and I'm
Right.
grateful and thankful at this point to not even come close to. I mean, you never know if you got this shit, but it's a scary thing, man,
Yeah.
because you don't have to be. I know people that's been as careful as they can be, and sometimes you get paranoid because if you get a cold, even if you get like a cold or cough and start sneezing, you're like, oh shit, you're like wondering if you got it,
That's the thing is,
so.
all the other shit is still around too.
Yes, all other shit is still around, and you still have like normal shit that makes you sneeze, man. I did something the other day that was making me sneeze, and Melanie was like, "Oh shit, you okay? I need to go get tested." I'm like, "Come on, please,"
Did she get tested?
Yeah, she got tested. She's good.
Have you been tested?
I tested like 3 times, bro.
Yeah, like recently.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I had a. I mean, I'm not like really interacting with people. I think I've only been got tested one time before I had my colonoscopy in August.
Yeah,
uh,
I did it. I did it like 3 times, and I got it. I got it through my urologist because when I went to see him, he had asked me if I had gotten tested for COVID. I said, "Nah, I don't want to
mhm.
do. I don't think I'm interested in getting no shit stuck up my nose." He said, "Oh well, they have a new way of doing it now, where they swab the back of your throat, and it's like 100% accurate." Oh, I said, "Okay." So I did it, and next day test came back negative, and then like a few weeks ago, I went to see him again and requested. Wasn't a few weeks. It was just before Christmas.
Mhm.
I requested to get tested because I was planning on going down to Virginia to visit my family, Deb and Jamal and them.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
wanted to make sure that I was good. So I went in and I got tested again. And this time he sucked the shit up my nose. But it wasn't nowhere near as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
The
people
shit
are
was
talking
like
about
really
it's like
easy.
your brain is being tickled.
Yeah, Melanie said she took it and she said that they may have went up kind of far and then something happened where they irritated her nose and
uh,
it just didn't feel right. She wasn't good for a couple of days and
yeah.
because of the way they did it, but it was like real easy. So and plus, I don't have to go. I mean, I did a couple of things may have been questionable, in the past 6 months in terms of being around people. But I'm always masked up and following protocol, man.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Got to
not out
do it.
here like walking around trying to be without no mask, man.
You're not like these assholes out there.
These assholes
There's a
out
lot of
here,
assholes out there right now.
asshole out here like fucking storming Capitol building and
Yeah, that's
trying to
pretty.
take it. That shit was crazy, man.
That was like the craziest shit I've ever seen. It was up there.
It was up there. I
It's
don't know.
pretty
I don't know if
pretty.
it's the craziest shit that I ever seen, but
And I I
it was
I
kind of.
I knew it was gonna happen too. I was like, because
I wasn't surprised. I didn't know it was going to happen, but I wasn't surprised that it would happen. And I think there's going to be more shit too.
yeah,
The
and they need to really prepare for that shit.
inauguration is going to be they better these are going to do everything they're going to do everything that they can to spoil that shit.
Yeah.
The
They
inauguration.
did you see who's the comedian? God, what's his name? Oh, I forget his name. And I like he's like one of my favorites. Oh, it's
Yeah.
on the tip of my tongue. But he put on Instagram. They may want to just do this inauguration on Zoom and have him do a DocuSign. Zoom
Yeah.
yeah, but this episode is going to air after that, so we'll see what happens. This is what is today, the 10th, January
Today's the
9th,
yeah,
10th.
today's the 10th.
Yeah, so
Yeah. Yeah,
this
man. This is gonna that was
hopefully by the
crazy,
time
man.
this is up on YouTube,
Yeah, it's
we'll
gonna
be in
it's
a
gonna be crazy.
yeah.
It's gonna be crazy, man. It's gonna. I mean, it's a shame that's gonna be because they're gonna plan. They're probably gonna plan something else, man. It's amazing to me that I'm not surprised by it. But none of these people are probably gonna go to jail, get locked up because isn't that like a federal offense to do
Yeah.
some shit like
No,
that?
they've been arresting people.
Really?
Yeah, they arrested the guy with the horns, and they arrested the guy that was on Pelosi's desk, and they arrested
Toby, did
the
you see
guy who
the
had
inside?
the
What they did? What they did to the
yeah, they were
inside
like
of that place?
smearing shit and piss everywhere, right?
Oh,
It's
they
crazy.
fucking wrecked
No, they're
somebody. They showed
well,
pictures of somebody's office.
they shouldn't have let the people they shouldn't have let them go. First of all, they should have known this shit was coming because it's not like these people weren't communicating online about all this crap, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
They know. They know.
they knew.
They
And
absolutely
so
know.
the security response was like really ridiculously weak. And they let
That's why I
fucking
can't
people go.
understand. They knew about this shit. Why did they let this shit get this far in the first place?
I don't fucking know. It's crazy. Maybe there's lots of theories, and there's going to be many theories.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know. I have theories, but I don't know.
And
Yeah,
you're
no, but
probably
they're
right
they're they're
too.
arresting people for sure.
Yeah, well.
Because they're right on there. Their faces are right on fucking YouTube. Did you hear
They
about the?
probably they probably were lawyered up before they even came down. They probably say, okay, you're allowed to do this, and
No,
if
I think
anything
they were
happens,
totally ill. I think they didn't really know what they were. I think some people didn't even have, didn't know it was gonna.
didn't have a clue.
Yeah. But did you hear there was some comedian that was going around like like a journalist,
Hmm.
like documenting. There were a lot of people
Hmm.
in there documenting the whole thing. Um, there was some comedian who was like filming and interviewing people and just gave all of that to the FBI. Like that
Oh,
was his whole
really?
intention, was like, I'm going to just turn this all over to the FBI. And it was like people up there like, my name is Joe Schmo and I'm from this town, and like it's like their face, and like they're like, I just went into the Capitol and took a shit
And
or
took
whatever.
a
It's
shit
no, it
on
literally is
Pelosi's desk.
like just video after video of confessions and people and IDing people, and it was like, yeah, he's
How
just like, yeah,
stupid!
gave it all to
How
the
fucking
FBI.
stupid!
Well, because they
How
thought,
fucking stupid! It's amazing how fucking stupid these people are, man.
yeah,
I mean, some of them have lifelong careers doing shit, man, and it's all going down the tube because they doing some stupid shit
but
in the name
that's what
of,
should happen when you do some really stupid shit, right? I mean, come on.
yeah.
Um,
Ugh.
I think that they're brainwashed. I think the president is brainwashed. A lot of people. I think people. There's all these, you know, movements and sites like
Yeah,
QAnon and
yeah.
all this shit. It's like brainwashing people. They literally thought they were doing something righteous. They thought they were being
Oh yeah,
righteous,
absolutely. They believe that stuff. They really believe it, man.
and yeah, but I don't have
Wow.
any sympathy
No,
for that.
no. That shit is crazy, man.
Yeah, I
How could
mean,
you have any sympathy for them, man? None of that forgive them before they know not what they do shit.
we
Fuck
need
that.
some serious like cult deprogramming on like a mass scale.
Yeah.
Like when people get pulled out of cults and they have to do the deprogramming.
I mean, you can't be against people protesting because that's, one of the rights of this country. But this was some other
This was
bullshit,
some
man.
yeah, this
This
was
was some
a
real
new level.
bullshit. Yeah. Yeah.
I
But
think if I didn't do 3 of these this week, I would have lost my mind.
really? Is this
Yeah.
the third one?
Yeah, you're number 3 for the
Who
week.
did you do?
I did John Medeski. I
Oh,
did
wow. Really?
yeah,
Wow.
on
That's
Wednesday.
cool.
Yeah, I did this guy David Sosa, who's a singer I work with a lot.
Okay. That's
Um,
cool.
and you, yeah.
Oh, all right.
So I think I might take a break from the recording and just focus on the editing.
Yeah,
I don't know. I
editing
just
is,
kind of wanted to do like a lot at once, and I'm like, well,
yeah, I know.
I have like a six week delay before I'm rolling these out. So
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing with these videos. I'm compiling a bunch of videos to put out, but I want to have a lot in the can. And I
yeah,
might do like a once a month thing, put out a video of the month thing, you know, and this will be my works that I've done during something that I was doing during the pandemic,
that's
you
right.
know?
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like we're gonna have to do a part 2 at some point.
For real?
Yeah, this has been like
I didn't see everything.
this has been the longest tune in ever.
You serious?
Yeah, it's the longest episode for sure.
Well, we only been on for like almost 2 hours.
Only, right? Most of them are like between an hour and an hour and a half. But I'm like, that's why I'm like, there's going to be a part 2. We'll do a part 2.
Yeah, that's no problem. But we did a lot of shit together over the years,
I
man.
know, but
We
I
did a
feel
lot
like
of
we
stuff.
barely scratched the surface.
Yeah,
You know?
just talking to burnt sugar will take up a whole about burnt sugar will take up a whole episode.
That's right. Oh my god. So I think we'll leave it here for now.
Okay, cool.
We'll
I could
reconvene
get,
for part two. We'll do
I
all
could
of that.
watch my Knicks, man.
That's right. Yeah.
We're doing good this year, man.
Isn't that funny? It's like all the craziness
And the Knicks
and
happen
the
to be
night.
doing good when nobody can go in the garden
Uh,
and watch them, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff.
Okay, Ben.
Thank you for joining me.
Absolutely.
We're gonna put. Hey, where should people go to check you out?
I don't do Twitter. I don't do Instagram. All I pretty much is got a Facebook page. And I'm gonna send you since you said you were gonna, I'm gonna send you my link tree that I
Yeah,
have all my
I'll put
stuff
up your
on.
link tree here. Boom.
Yeah, yeah.
Link tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, link trees are
You
great.
don't have it, right?
I can
I'll
find
send
it.
it to you.
I can
Yeah,
find
yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
easily.
He
Yeah.
Bob 7.
But yeah, we'll put that up
Yeah, yeah.
so
I'm
people can go
gonna
check you out.
Yeah, yeah. Check out. I got a bunch of stuff on there. So, you know.
Cool.
Thanks, man. This was great, man. This is a good Sunday, man.
Thank you. Thank you. And we'll talk again soon.
Okay, love you,
All
man.
right, love you too.
We'll talk again soon.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Obama out. Drop mic dropped.
Yeah. That was a real treat. Thanks for joining us. I want to thank V. Jeffrey Smith. It's always a joy and pleasure to be around him, to talk to him, to play music with him, which I really miss. I hope you check him out. Check out his link tree that we posted earlier. I'll post it again here. Please subscribe to this channel, the Ben Tyree YouTube page. We need all the support we can get, as do all of these artists that I'm introducing you to or showcasing here, because a lot of you already know them. If you want to support this show, if you want to sponsor the show, contact me, contact@bentyree.net. If you want to send a donation, the handle is Ben Tyree on Venmo and Cash App. Keep in touch, bentyree.net. Take very good care of yourselves. Love each other. Stay healthy. Stay safe. Peace.